They may not have enough space, enough manpower to keep these dogs in shelters. So it could be a catch-22, what the court exactly says. And so these dogs have to be left back in the streets. But they also say infected dogs, dogs with rabies and aggressive dogs should be retained. Rule number 20, which actually enables feeding inside communities and societies and resident welfare associations, which is a violation of their privacy. Now that's also they cut it down. The amendment says no more feeding in public spaces. A dog will not go to the next street and eat food because the dogs there will not allow him to come there. So probably in the night he can sneak and go and find some food and come back, and that will take at least 1 month for them to adjust to that kind of scenario, provided the other dogs are sleeping at 3 in the morning, whatever. 50 lakh each, 2 crores, where did they get this kind of money? So they kept harassing the Supreme Court or any court you go to, they come and harass you, harass the judges, everybody. This is what they do. They are not coming here to solve, they want to complicate the issue. The ABC rules which is written under that cannot say, no, you leave them back in the street. So that's a contradiction. Now Supreme Court has to go deep into it. Okay, when the arguments start, probably we will go and explain them that. And secondary is, how can they, after giving a judgment, telling everybody, go to the high courts and find a solution.
But I think Menaka Gandhi also said dogs bite because they are displaced from their territories or because they're not fed properly and so on and so on.
You create a mess. It's a mess created by her and her clan. Now you can't blame anybody else. You have to take responsibility. As I said earlier, every blood spilled from by these dogs. See, when the dogs don't have food, they will travel. Okay. Now the aggressive ones and bold ones will venture out initially, and they'll go for looking for food. Okay, so if they find a feeding pot somewhere where there's some leftover food, they will eat. Okay, but still it's a public nuisance. Though I want to feed him, so I have to call him inside my house and I feed him. This is how animal activists have to do. They have to take those dogs, keep it in their house, or when they want to feed inside your house. Don't feed on the street. Feed inside your house. Okay, this is the rule right now. You have to feed inside your house. You can't feed in a public spot, and public places, if the corporation is going to install feeding spot, make feeding spots, I feel it's too low. Okay, Menaka Gandhi, if she can give 50 lakhs for appearance for a thing, I think she should be at least pay some 2 crores. This is what the court should have said. It's logical.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
In our previous video, we had a very different approach to the judgment that was made by the bench currently, led by Justice Nath and Sandeep Mehta and N.V. Anjaria. Yeah. So this judgment has been celebrated by a lot of your so-called animal enthusiasts and welfare activists and so on. But you say that we need to read between the lines. Can you please explain this judgment, and can you say why we should do that?
Prima facie, it says dogs need not be kept in shelters. It can be released back on the road. The reason they give us, they may not have enough space, enough manpower to keep these dogs in shelters. So it could be a catch-22, what the court exactly says. And so these dogs have to be left back in the streets. But they also say infected dogs, dogs with rabies and aggressive dogs should be retained. Now that actually, first thing is like, this is what being celebrated by the animal activists. Okay. Now, we had a contention saying that if the dog bites, dog is aggressive, it should not be left back in the road. So that's a victory for us also. It's not that, everything is given in a platter to them. We were contending, saying this rules, animal birth control rules, 16, which is not letting the dogs back in the streets, is what we are fighting against. So we got a verdict there saying that yes, aggressive dogs will be retained. Second is number 20, rule number 20, which actually enables feeding inside communities and societies and resident welfare associations, which is a violation of their privacy. Now that's also they cut it down. The amendment says no more feeding in public spaces.
We have feeding zones now.
So my point is, why are animal activists rejoicing this judgment? Because how can they stop feeding dogs, which they are feeding for years? Some of them are like God. The dogs are like hooked on to these people who are feeding. So if they're celebrating that, it's absolute stupidity. Don't you feel it's absolute stupidity?
It is, because it's such a contradiction.
Yeah, it's a contradiction, and they've got feeding spots. Now, tell me one thing, dogs are territorial. A dog will not go to the next street and eat food because the dogs there will not allow him to come there. So probably in the night he can sneak and go and find some food and come back, and that will take at least 1 month for them to adjust to that kind of scenario, provided the other dogs are sleeping at 3 in the morning, whatever. So this is not victory for anybody. Okay, for us, yes, for the fighting, for us it's a rule number 20 is no more feeding. That's a huge victory. Second is a partial victory because we wanted all the dogs impounded, all the dogs taken out. Taken out, euthanize, whatever you do, but we don't want them back in the streets. How you manage, what you do with them, it's your problem because you created this problem, you solve it. The animal activists and the corporations, the governments had the whole problem. So this is what I see as this is what I read from this judgment. Okay, but it's a long way to go. It's only interim judgment, so we need to wait patiently.
They have no reason to celebrate, no cause for celebration
Yes.
whatsoever. But then this judgment, you also say, has a little bit of flaw here and there, right? So we would let's decode that a little bit.
Okay.
What about the ABC birth control rules? Yeah.
Okay. Two things. One is he said this judgment had an issue, and next is AB's rule. We are not criticizing the judgment. All you are saying is there are mistakes. There are serious mistakes because in 2024. There was a case which is running from 2009 till 2020, which is like 15 years, right?
15 years. Yeah.
15 years this case was going on the animal birth control rules 2001, not the 2023. But at the end, the 2023 also got added to that. 15 years the Supreme Court spent time on that, and probably at the end they got cheesed up saying that we don't want to discuss this anymore. This looks like a very complex problem because this animal rights, they have huge foreign funds coming here, I told you. So last time we saw in this case also, they had elaborately 4 senior counsels, 50 lakh each, 2 crores. Where did they get this kind of money? So they kept harassing the Supreme Court or any court you go to, they come and harass you, harass the judges, everybody. This is what they do. They are not coming here to solve, they want to complicate the issue. So 15 years they could not find a solution. At the end, Supreme Court said, see, these are regional issues. Dog bite is regional, state issues. Go to the states. Which is right because the ABC rules is ultra virus. One. Second is it's an overreach. When I say ultra virus, it contradicts the Parent Act. We discussed that also. PC Act says take the dogs, destroy them. The Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act says destroy them. The ABC rules which is written under that cannot say no, you leave them back in the street. So that's a contradiction. Now Supreme Court has to go deep into it. Okay, when the arguments start, probably we will go and explain them that. And secondary is how can they, after giving a judgment, telling everybody go to the high courts and find a solution, how can they now come suddenly and say we will hear all the cases? So that's actually shocks us. See, I have gone and filed a case in Madras High Court, which is closer to my house. I travel there more or less 6 months. Now, if the Supreme Court says your case is transferred to Supreme Court and I have to go there and argue, and that's going to cost me money, and who's going to fund me? These are questions we have to ask, so we'll come to that slowly.
Mm-hmm. And you said about the shelters being a catch-22 situation.
Yes.
Maybe we could just delve a little bit more deeper into that. How do you think that this whole thing is going to work with the shelters?
See, the initial order, two-page judge order, it was only to impound 5,000 dogs. Not, there are 10 lakh dogs is what they claim in Delhi. Nobody knows. So that itself pathetic. You don't know how many dogs are there. How are you going to be rabies free by 2030? You can't. The government of India, Modi ji, they have to sit and think, what is this happening? And shelters. So there are not enough shelters. So you need to build shelters. 5,000 was the pilot project. Keep them in wherever place they can and take them out and build shelters over a period of time. So this is what they should have done. Now, I think Maneka Gandhi came out and said, who will talk about aggressive? How will you define aggressive dogs? Very simple. What is the difficulty in any dog which chasing bikes, cars, other dogs, biting people or killing people? These are aggressive dogs. What is the difficulty? Because these people have a problem. Maneka and a sister called Ambika Shukla.
But I think Maneka Gandhi also said dogs bite because they are displaced from their territories or because they're not fed properly and so on and so forth.
You create a mess. It's a mess created by her and her clan. Now you can't blame anybody else. You have to take responsibility. As I said earlier, every blood spilled from by these dogs, she is responsible. She, her sister, and there's another lady called Gauri Malaki. This is the team which works from there. They are all part of People for Animals NGO. They should take responsibility. You create a mess, you solve it. Can you solve it? You don't know, you can't solve it. It has become a monster. Today the government is trying to solve it, and you're trying to be you're trying to poke, and you're trying to poke, and you're trying to derail the whole thing. That's what you're doing. So you need to stay out of this issue if it has to be solved.
Can you explain to us about how these feeding shelters or feeding zones, as they called it, how do you think that this is going to work? I mean, can you just now we can no longer just feed on public spaces,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And this is going to be a hard punch to all of those dog enthusiasts and lovers. So how does this work?
See, when the dogs don't have food, they will travel. Okay. Now the aggressive ones and bold ones will venture out initially, and they'll go for looking for food. Okay. So if they find a feeding pot somewhere where there's some leftover food, they will eat. Okay. But still, it's a public nuisance. Okay. So it says, the judgment says the feeding spots should not be in a public space. It should not be streets. Should not be in public space. So where will they have these feeding spots?
Yeah, it can't be in the street, obviously.
It can't be in the street, so it's not a problem. So where is it going to be? It has to be a animal activist house. They can get the dogs inside and feed. Okay, I'll give a small example. There's a guy outside my house who feeds. Now, he feeds in the night. Probably last night was raining, he didn't feed. So one of the dog, which has a distemper, it has a disease, okay, it's a survivor, distemper survivor, but all the teeth and all gone one side because they keep biting always because of that disease. It's a remnant, okay, leftover of that disease. So this dog keeps doing that, and the other street dog which stays inside our compound. We feed him, we vaccinate him, we keep them safe because that dog should not bite somebody and get into a mess. So that dog was there, this dog was there, and this walked because last night he has not fed, so he was starving and he was looking for food. Now I can't go to the street and feed him.
You can't.
Though I want to feed him. So I had to call him inside my house and I fed him. This is how animal activists have to do. They have to take those dogs, keep it in their house, or when they want to feed inside your house. Don't feed on the street. Feed inside your house. Okay, this is the rule right now. You have to feed inside your house. You can't feed in a public spot, and public places, if the corporation is going to install feeding spot, make feeding spots, well, that's also public spaces. What are they going to do? So these are things which the court needs to answer. Because you can't just blindly say, he said, okay, this is wrong what the judge bench did, and you're given something else, and this also looks extremely confusing.
Yes.
So clarity will come because it's the initial order, so it'll evolve. So we need to wait. But my only worry is it should not take another 15 years for us to find a solution. By then, half the India would have died of rabies. This is the problem we have.
I think very recently, even today,
exactly.
there was a
person died in Tamil Nadu. Every day there are people dying. Every day across India, at least 2 or 3 people dying of rabies. And this has become a regular phenomenon now, and the court needs to be sensitive of that. The court need not get scared. Court looks like it's now, for me, it looks like the Supreme Court is scared. Okay, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Kapil Sibal, okay, Siddharth Dave and Siddharth Luthra, 3 senior counsels, each of them charging 50 lakhs per appearance probably. When they land up there, why is the court is getting scared and taking a back seat? They're trying to reverse the judgment whatever they gave other day. So if a judgment is true, you stand by it.
Could it also be because across political parties we see we see a cordiality.
Divided. They're divided also.
Because we see BJP also welcoming this. We see the governor of Delhi also welcoming this. We see Rahul Gandhi also welcoming this. So can we see this as a public sentiment that the court?
No, it is not. It's a public sentiment. The court, see, as the Solicitor General mentioned the other day, the silent majority is suffering and they're dying because they are the peoples in the lower strata. They don't go by car, they don't go by bike, they walk. They are the ones who are getting affected maximum. The vocal minority is being heard because they have the funds. And I'm not really pointing fingers at all these animal lovers, etc., who come and do these protests. They are actually extremely innocent. They can't think beyond a dog, and their life is just with dogs and nothing beyond that.
They can't look at the structural aspects.
They don't look at anything. Yesterday we had a show, famous show in one of the Tamil channels, where it came out very clearly they can't even defend their ideology, which is having dogs in the streets and feeding them. They came out so innocent, so all their reasons are very flimsy, and they were like, they were just very sad to look at them, and all of them are stuck with dogs. One is feeding 50, the other one is feeding 100 dogs. These are the kind of people, and some of them are like celebrities who are coming there, Shosha and all that. I love my dog, I want my dog to be in the street, but they're not able to justify why the dog should be in the street, why they need to be fed 3 times a day. All this they're not able to justify. So end of the show, the anchor concluded, you people look like extremely innocent, and somebody, it looks like you guys are sleeper cells. Somebody is taking you all for a solid ride or using you all for their hidden agenda. This is what exactly came out. So this is where they stand.
And what about this whole thing about dog lovers paying 25,000 and NGOs
Yes.
paying 2 lakhs?
Yes.
Could you please explain that? And I really like the phrase that the court has used, dog lovers.
Yeah.
So could you please explain about
See, what happens is, this is the problem in any court. Immediately when there's a dog issues taken up, you'll have 3-4 senior counsel appearing from nowhere. Senior counsels probably in a lower court, in my court, Madras High Court, senior counsel, probably they'll charge him 5 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh. Now if they bring a senior counsel from Supreme Court, he will charge nothing less than 15, 20 or 50 lakhs.
per appearance, right?
Per appearance we are talking about. So where do they really come from, all these people, and where is the money they are getting to come from? So actually the court has underestimated. If you ask me, they said if it's an individual who is coming to implead in this case, there's a case means they're coming into the case, they should be charged 25,000. That's a fee now. It's like a court fee.
Okay.
That money has to be deposited within 7 days, only then they will be heard. If it's an NGO, let's say Maneka Gandhi's PFA, they have to pay 2 lakhs. That's a fee.
Okay.
Because the court also understands this is a mess created by animal lovers and the corporations or the civic bodies. Okay, because of Maneka Gandhi pushing these animal birth control rules in each and every place. So this 2 lakh, why it came into the picture is that I feel it's too low. Okay, Maneka Gandhi, if she can give 50 lakhs for appearance for a thing, I think she should be at least pay some 2 crores. This is what the court should have said. It's logical. She can field 4 senior counsels who charge for 1 appearance 2 crores and coming into the case. Why not charge her 2 crores? And this 25,000 per each individual, there should be 25 lakhs. It should be 25 lakhs and 2 crores. Only then you can keep them away. This money, Maneka herself will pay for 100 people. 2 lakhs, right? She will pay 2 crores and say, okay, 100 people, let 100 people get into the case. So the case will get hijacked. This has been happening in the previous case. So the court knows that this nuisance and nonsense is going to happen. That's why they want to caution them. And another thing is, reason is like probably it's only 25 and 2 lakh is, if you come to disturb the case, if you come without any substance, if you're just trying to do time pass, we're going to penalize you very bad. This is like a warning. So this is another warning is, I know people like, Maneka, I don't know if she understands or not. This is like, do not come with an agenda. Do not come here with your foreign funds. Do not try to influence us for a wrong decision. This is what court is like literally warning them. This is what I read between the lines.
And what is your take on the adoption that
Okay.
has been implemented?
That's not interesting. See, where do you adopt dogs from? Normally,
Sometimes just on the street.
yes, this is what people have been doing so far,
Or
right?
a small kid
Yeah.
asking her mother,
So
can I please adopt a
that
dog?"
is the mess. People go pick up 10 puppies, bring it home, bring them up, give it for fostering, and after fostering, give it dump on somebody's head, and they all get stuck and they come back to the roads. So this is a nuisance which the government wants to stop. So what they done now, they said, corporation, if there are puppies on the road, 10 puppies are there on the road, you have to give them an adoption form, and to ensure that when they take those 10 puppies, they don't throw them back on the road. So nobody can take puppies from the road hereafter. Okay, this is a hidden message. Many people won't have understood. Nobody can take a puppy from the street. Okay, this has to
like
go
that.
to loud and clear. It has to go to the masses, the animal activists. Okay, as I said, you can't feed your dogs. Now you can't pick up puppies from the street. What are you celebrating? What are you
All
really
of your
celebrating?
altruistic acts are cut.
All been
Yeah.
destroyed. Your agenda, your bad habits, your what is I call it psychological disorder of picking up puppies, etc., and feeding animals. This is being stopped. It's stopped with the iron hand here. Another thing is, other than this, if they talk about adoption, in the shelters, see, normally in abroad, now people go to a shelter and adopt a dog, an abandoned dog.
Goes to the street and just picks up.
Yeah, now there are no shelters. Shelters will have only rabies and aggressive dogs. Okay, so who's going to go adopt a rabid dog or an aggressive dog? So that's ruled out. So it's only they're talking about the street. So this is a double whammy. You know, the activists should be sitting and crying, and they're still sitting celebrating. That's absolute stupidity. They're not understood the order, which means. Okay, now what I want to say is, like, you know, there are a lot of unanswered things which we need clarification. First is, my lords, you know, you told us to go to high courts last year, May. This year, August, you are telling us come back to Supreme Court. Why this hardship for us? This is a genuine question I'm asking to the Chief Justice of India. Because he formed this 3-judge bench. Okay. Last year you all said go to High Court. Now they are saying come to this High Court, Supreme Court.
And he also gave the order.
It's an expense.
States should follow, right?
Yeah. And they're also getting all the states and union territories.
Yeah.
Why this drastic change? The court should reason it out. Second reason, the animal birth control rules is ultra virus, I told you, because it's written under PC Act, contravening the PC Act, the Parent Act.
Parent Act, yeah. 2,
it is infringing upon state rights, because dog bite is healthcare, dog defecating all around is hygiene, dogs carrying rabies and other distemper kind of disease, it's like control of infectious and contagious diseases. All 3 are in the state list. Why should a state government should get implicated in this case? Why union territory should come into this case and say follow the central government rule? Why should we? The state has rights. I think the M.K. Stalin and his entire, you know, legal council should jump into the Supreme Court and say, sir, we will enact rules for which suits us. This is how we want to take it. Why should we use a rule which is written actually by Maneka Gandhi and gang, a foreign funded cabal, and that become a rule in India? See, we keep resisting, no? We keep punishing people for treason, anti-India activities. One of the biggest complaints by BJP from 2014, ever since they came to power, is they keep saying that this guy is anti-Indian, that guy is anti-Indian, this guy is talking rubbish. You know, they look at any Christian and say, okay, he's anti-Indian. Any is a Muslim, he's anti-Indian. This is what they've been saying. So how can you let this nonsense get into, you know, become a rule become a law, and written by Maneka Gandhi and a cabal? I know who wrote this. Okay, there's a guy called HSI, is another foreign NGO, and Gauri Maleki. They sat together and wrote these rules without using their brains, for simple reason, because there are some of the things like, for example, the birth control itself. That's a very interesting thing which I want to bring out. Across India, in Tamil Nadu, none of the NGOs have project recognition to do birth control.
Okay.
Now, if you want to know what it is, first of all, if you want to follow the ABC rules, see, first of all, it's a state thing list. State should formulate and we should follow what the state tells us. Now, the Animal Welfare Board of India, where Maneka Gandhi wanted total control, she made these rules and they said, use the Animal Welfare Board of India. Anybody wants to do birth control. So, NGOs do birth control. It's not the corporation also can do, NGO also do.
NGOs do it.
But corporations normally outsource it to them. Now, if the NGO has to do, let's say for example, Blue Cross in Chennai wants to do birth control. First of all, they have to get registered with the AWBI as Animal Welfare NGO. Once they are registered as Animal Welfare NGO, they can apply for Animal Birth Control NGO. That is section 3 of the Animal Birth Control rules. Okay, getting recognition to do birth control. In Tamil Nadu, nobody has project recognition. You need NGOs in every district. This is the case across India. The rules they formed, as I said, they left the brain behind. They did not go into the rules and see whether anybody can get qualified, because I think it's asking for experience similar, something like 2,000 operations for the doctor. You should have some 2,000, something like that. You know, it's extremely complicated. And they should have state-of-the-art operation theatre. They should have this, they should have that, this facility, air conditioned throughout, and so much of, you know, anesthesia, that, this and all. When you have to do all these, you can't do an animal birth control surgery for 2,000 rupees. That's where, and if a surgeon is going to do a surgery for 1,500 to 2,000 rupees, including AC fee, you know, anesthesia, all the other medicals with helpers, you know, assistant surgeons, etc. It's going to cost him at least 10,000 rupees, minimum 10,000 rupees per surgery. How will you do a surgery for 1,500 to 2,000? This is the mess they got into. This is the mess, this foot in the mouth for Maneka Gandhi. This cannot be implemented. So they've destroyed it themselves. So this is the questions we have for the Supreme Court. The ABC is not implementable. Can you believe it? So what is Blue Cross doing? ABC, Get a Chennai Corporation and some NGOs are doing ABC in Tamil Nadu means it's all illegal.
But they've also shown that this works, right?
What works?
The ABC works.
Yeah, I think the senior councils came and said it has worked in Goa, it has worked in some Lucknow. It's going to absolutely. These are like, tall claims. They said Chennai is rabies free once long back. Then they said Goa is rabies free. Rabies free doesn't mean dogs are not biting. We have the numbers where dogs are biting. In a state like Tamil Nadu, the population is 8 lakh. 8 lakh people are bitten every year. UP is around 23 crore people, but at least 12 crore people are bitten there. It's a backward state. You need to understand that. Yes. This is a forward state. The problem is here, the money is flowing, food is, the animals are overfed actually. There's so many biryani, you take any street, you have biryani shops. What happens to all these chicken bones? They get dumped in the street and the dogs eat.
Yeah.
So they have enough food. That's why they're multiplying, that's why they're biting. There's no food at all. Let's say even the feeding spots are taken away, no feeding. Okay, the dog population over 5 years will reduce automatically. Or they'll go to the next states like Andhra and Kerala. They are in the borders. Others will starve to death. So that's what's going to happen. So the ABC rules is not implementable. So that's the catch here. 2030, Mr. Modi has told, I think WHO and UNESCO that India will be rabies free. And he says, we're doing so many things. Rabies vaccination. We're going to jointly do birth control. Birth control is not solution for anything. Controlling dog population or for rabies. Okay, you have to remove them summarily from the road. That's the only way you're going to control rabies. And people, if they say when you remove the dogs, rats will come out, monkeys will come, all that is speculative. These are not proven theory. Okay. Next, why follow ABC rules as it ultra-virus? These are questions we're going to have. We're going to ask the Supreme Court. Why should we follow ABC rules? It has failed last 20 years. Second, it doesn't give us a provision. There are NGOs who can do birth control because the the filtering criteria or the selection criteria are so strong for animal birth control NGO. Everything is what is happening is illegal. So they are also killing dogs. So it's not working. So why should we follow that? Next is, how will feeding spots help? As I explained earlier, this is what I'm going to ask. Dogs in the pounds are aggressive and rabid, and who's going to adopt them? See, another point is like, for us to go to Supreme Court and argue the case, okay, we can do it sitting in a video conference, not a problem, okay. But if you have to physically be there for a final argument, etc., it's going to cost us. So that should be, thought out, because a number of cases which are going to come to Supreme Court. See, in Madras High Court itself, I know at least there are 15 cases on the dog issue. So we will take all the states in India and multiply by 15 or 10 or 15. We're going to have hundreds of cases going to come to Supreme Court. It's going to be another Jamela. It's going to take so much time of the court, and it's going to be another 15 years by then. So actually, if you ask me, this order also has complicated everything. Okay, the easiest way to solve a problem is break it down into smaller problems and let it be handled by many people. That's what they did last year, May. They broke it down and said, go to all the high courts. There are so many states, so many high courts. It have become smaller problem. There's smaller problem which the states can address, the high courts can address. So this is again double whammy. One is the problem which the high courts could have solved. The states could have enacted rules for ABC because it's ultra-virus and it's like infringing into state rights. These two together would have solved this issue. Now we have gone 20 years back. How is this going to solve? We have to wait and see. We'll have to go spend time in the court. Hundreds of people are going to come there, and so much there are lakhs and lakhs of cases pending in the courts in India, and we have another case which is going to take so much time. Doesn't make logical sense for me. In fact,
until then people are
the Chief Justice should think over this and probably reverse everything and say, go back to high courts, find your solution there. Don't, because it was very cool, because in a Delhi High Court, Mini Pushkara, as a judge, lady judge, she said, okay, impound all the dogs, no more stray dogs. But she didn't say overnight you do it. She said, I'll give you time. Come back to me with a plan. Let's do it in a phased manner. I'm saying the same thing. You want to be rabies free by 2030, you have to ensure there are no dogs by 2028, right? Now, how do you do that? Initially, you start with the aggressive, sick, old, and the puppies. So when you remove the puppies from the street, next generation is taken care. move them to a shelter. Whichever is not okay, aggressive, rabies or a disease, infection with like mange, distemper, humanely euthanize them. As humanly put to sleep. Finish off that batch. The next year you have time. Slowly keep moving. By third year you will not have dogs. This is the only solution, practical solution possible, because you have made a mess of it. I include the Supreme Court, I include the High Courts, I include Maneka Gandhi, I include the governments. As a country you have failed, my friends. You have failed the people of the nation. You have failed the people of the nation.
Trying to please.
Yes, and that too, not the elite. You have failed the poor people who walk every day, getting bitten in these dark streets. There are 10 dogs coming to attack them. You have destroyed that. So you have taken away my Article 19(1)(d). As an Indian, I should have the freedom to roam about this country freely wherever I want to go. Let it be a boy or girl. Don't try to, if it's a girl, you try to do, moral policing, saying that why is she going in the nonsense? The article, this constitution has given me right to go to anywhere, any place. It's the duty and the job of the damn government to protect me. Similarly, I should walk around freely when the dog should not attack me. Then Article 21, my right to life and liberty. I should be protected. I should not die of rabies, my lords. So as a country you have failed, your citizens. That's the animal birth control rules and the animal, welfare and absolute nonsense which is happening in this country. Any sensible person will think about it and try to act on it. So that's my humble prayer to the lordships there and to the rest of the governments.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope that since this is just an interim judgment, we hope to see some more changes.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.